So, the spoilers are out for My Hero Academia Manga Chapter 386, and from what we get from the first glimpses of the spoilers, this is going to be a very explosive chapter, and you'll see why that is the case right now. Hey guys, how's it going? It is your boy, Manga Man Drew, and I'm here to cover the spoilers for My Hero Academia Manga Chapter 386. And at this time, the leaks are coming out, so I'm just going to be reading right into them and jumping right into it, and pretty much giving you what the spoilers are right now, and let's just dive right into it. So, the chapter begins with the police officer saying that the several blocks have started moving again, and that All For One has just passed through the city of Edo. Tsukachi asks if anyone can still fight, and another cop says that they've asked several for backup, but they're all busy. That's when another cop falls out of his chair and shouts, "The heat from Dabi's flames in Gunga." Tsukachi tells him to explain and asks if Endeavor has been defeated. The cop says that he hasn't, but the results of their analysis shows that Dabi is about to explode. Since he got up to continue fighting, he has been concentrating the heat inside of his own body. If he continues like this, he'll only last for about 10 more minutes, and then all that energy will be released, destroying his body and causing a heat explosion with an area of 5 kilometers. So, this part of the spoilers is very interesting because we're getting to see a little bit more of what's going on with Dabi as we get a little bit more of what's going on with All For One, and that he's heading in the direction most likely of Deku as well as Tomura, but now we're going to be hopefully focusing a little bit more on Dabi and the fight that he's going to be having with Endeavor, which probably explains why we saw Shoto at the end of the last chapter. So this is something very interesting. I can't wait to see where this is going to be going from here because of just the idea that Dabi is going to explode and do almost enough damage to cover a radius of like maybe around a few miles, which is a lot of destruction that can be done by just Dabi alone. So let's see where this is going to be going with the next part of the text spoilers. And with the next part of the text spoilers, we have Tsukachi despairs and LaBrava warns him that some of the underground shelters are now close to Gunga. The civilians are in Dabi's blast radius. Then we see that the block where the Todoroki family is keeps collapsing, and Gunhead tells them to open the emergency exit. Another cop warns that All For One is even faster and is now close enough to use his goo teleport quirk. Tsukachi asks once again for reinforcements, but someone confirms that no heroes will arrive in time. It is then that a voice calls his name over the communicator. Cut to Kamino, and Ida asks Shoto how tired he is from using phosphorus, but he says he's fine. He can't stop while there's a chance All For One might get to where Deku is, but Ida says that his mind must be a mess right now because of the whole Dabi situation. Shoto replies saying that he has to fulfill his duty, and Ida is devastated by the fact that someone as kind as his friend who guided him back to the right path has to deal with all this stuff. The two of them are crying. That's when a voice says it's finally connected over the communicator. It's All Might's voice. He is happy to hear that the two of them are okay and says that he doesn't have much time, so he'll be brief. They have to get to Gunga as fast as possible. So, this is very interesting. We got to see that potentially the voice that was talking to Tsukachi and the despair that he's feeling about All For One and Dabi was most likely All Might. And most likely in the situation, from what we're potentially going to be seeing, All Might is trying to encourage Shoto to get to Gunga Mountain as fast as possible, while also potentially maybe confronting All For One before he's able to reach the location of Deku. So everything seems to be coming together. The Kamino and the characters there are going to be heading to Gunga Mountain, as well as All Might potentially confronting All For One. Now, how is this going to be happening? I think that within the next part of the text spoilers, we're probably going to be seeing Ida going like full burst Recipro and is going to be able to get Shoto to Gunga Mountain within a time frame that like would be nearly impossible for anyone to actually comprehend him being capable of, which is maybe he's going to get a quirk evolution, maybe something that he wasn't able to show, maybe he's just that fast, but we're potentially going to be getting that if not in this chapter, maybe within the next few chapters, potentially. But we're going to be moving on to the next part of the tech spoilers very soon. And with the next part of the tech spoilers, we have All Might explaining that Dabi will explode soon and that the evacuation blocks have stopped moving. Endeavor is fighting him, but he'll not be able to stop the explosion with his quirk. All Might says that he is sure that Ida will be able to run there and begins a short speech dedicated to Shoto. Body and mind are two different things, and Shoto knows this better than anyone else because of all the things he's gone through. Shoto says that he'd rather go stop All for One, but All Might tells him not to worry about it. What he has to do now is stop Toya and reassure everyone. The only quirks that can save Gunga are engine and half cold, half hot. Shoto isn't sure if that's possible because Ida's engines are overheated, but he says the rain lowered its temperature. His legs are for guiding lost children, and this is what he will do with Shoto. Ida puts Shoto on his back and tells him to hold on tight. Stain watches and mutters to himself that they're giving their all for the sake of other people. What follows is a spread of the two of them flying through the air and crashing buildings with Ida's full power. So this is going to be amazing because this is really just focusing on the purpose Ida is going to be serving in this war, which, as we could have guessed, is transportation from Kamino to Gunga Mountain. So that's very interesting, as well as it's getting a little bit more into the characterization, potential character development, or really more or less emphasizing the growth that they've gone through as characters throughout the story, and All Might being the catalyst for it a little bit more. And just the idea that we have Ida, who is running or using his engine so fast that he's basically flying, is something that we could have actually predicted and was foreshadowed potentially during the war. But this is something that I've always really wanted and was really expecting from these characters, and we're going to be seeing whether or not these characters are potentially going to be reaching Gunga Mountain within the next 10 minutes. But with that, we may be approaching the end of the spoilers with the next part of the spoiler text. And with the final part of this text spoilers, a narration then begins saying that Hawks' report said that young All for One is stronger and more cruel. We then see Hawks holding Tokoyami, Tsukachi yelling idiot, and All Might getting out of his car saying that this has always been his battle as All for One flies closer. All Might says that this brings back memories of their past fight and wonders if all this newfound hatred is Shigaraki's influence. Tsukachi tells him to flee because he's quirkless, and All Might smiles, remembering when Deku asked if he could be a hero even without a quirk. The last double-page spread shows All for One smiling as All Might's briefcase and car starts to disassemble, forming some kind of robotic armor around his arm. He says that he cannot ignore the villain in front of him and lets out his iconic line, "I am here." End of chapter, with the title of this chapter being Chapter 386, I Am Here. So, to the people who thought that All Might was going to get an Iron Man suit, congratulations. You earn yourself a free smoothie. Go to your nearest restaurant and request a free smoothie and they will give it to you. But no, in all seriousness, from what we're getting with the spoilers, this part of the chapter is going to be amazing, and really much what's going to be in the next chapter is going to be even more bombastic. So this is going to be the final confrontation between All Might and All for One, and who's going to win, who's going to lose, it's anyone's guess. But yeah, I'm very excited for what's going to be happening within this chapter and within the next chapter. But yeah, that's all the spoilers that I really have for this chapter of My Hero Academia. I don't want to go into it as much as I want to. I will save a little bit more of my thoughts for the review. But overall, from what we're seeing with the spoilers, this is going to be an amazing and bombastic chapter. So let me ask you, what did you think of the spoilers for this chapter? Did you like them? Did you dislike them? What did you think about them? Leave your thoughts down below. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that notification bell to be notified for whenever I upload more content like this. Do all that cool jazz, and hopefully I'll be able to catch you in my next video. Goodbye!